All right, looking at the market momentum then, we've started off the week on a good note. In fact, on a higher note than where we are right now. The markets, especially the benchmarks, have cooled off a tad bit from the opening highs, but still firmly in the green. You have the Sensex gaining about 220 points. Nifty is up 0.7%, trading above that 10,300 mark. Broader markets really shining today. Mid-cap index is up 1.1%. Small cap is up 1.5%. If you look at some sectoral indices, barring Nifty IT, all of them are firmly in the green, and even Nifty IT is just trading along that flat line with a slight negative bias. But on the winning side, you have Nifty Bank, you have a Nifty Media, PSU Banking Index and Pharma Index that's looking very bright and upbeat. Talking about some COVID-related updates, then Varun, would you like to do that?
Sure, Karanya. The COVID corner for this morning, global cases cross 90 lakh with over 4.7 lakh people now dead. India crosses the 4 lakh cases mark, making it the world's 4th highest. Centre lauds BMC for handling the Dharavi hotspot. Delhi containment zones to be mapped again, says the MHA. BMC to screen door-to-door in Mumbai suburbs. Then we have Hetero, Cipla to supply Remedisivi to hospitals. COVID-19 deaths in Brazil surged past the 50,000 mark. The WHO reports single-day high of 1.8 lakh cases. Spain reopens borders for European tourists. And the UK to announce further easing of curbs.
Well, those were the top COVID-related updates as well for you at the top of this hour. But let's come back to the markets, and we had a big market voice joining us over the weekend for a ET Now webinar, and our guest was Raamdeo Agarwal, and he says functions of the markets is to surprise the investor every time. Listen in to further insights that he gave during his chat with us.
Market will always surprise you. Market will always have a new story. The job of the market is to surprise you. So don't worry too much about what has happened in the past. So this time is different. Every time will be different, I can tell you this. Every time will be different. So don't be surprised by that. The rules of the market cannot be set by you. Market has its own dynamic rule making, and you have to perform in that dynamically, dynamic situation. In the long run, it's a weighing machine. That part remains unchanged, I would say. But per se, what's happening in the short term in the market, or what's happening, what went down, where it corrected, where it has come, liquidity, you cannot control on that. And every time this picture will be very different. And second, let me tell you, if you want to make money with the predictions of IMF, आपको गंगा में भी पानी नहीं मिलेगा. समझे ना? आपको अपनी समझ से पैसे कमाने पड़ेंगे. आपको कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए भैया, मैं I can go to the market in whatever market and I can find two ideas where it will be at 30% 40% discount. It will be available, and it is going to grow at 25% in the next 3 years, and I'm going to double my money in 3 years. That confidence should be there in you, and at any price you'll find ideas. I'm not saying at the high of the market ideas are fewer, and at the lower price, at say 7,500 index, you could find many more ideas at 7,500.
All right, that was the big voice of Raamdeo Agarwal. We'll get you more insights all through the day. But right now, let's talk about two pharma stocks that are hogging the limelight in trade. I'm talking about Cipla and Glenmark. Pankaj is standing by to give us an update about the new launches for which they've gotten approval for in case of Cipla. And for Glenmark as well, they've gotten approval to manufacture and market Favipiravir in India. Both are related to COVID treatment. Pankaj is here with more details.
So, let's start with Cipla first and then go to Glenmark as well. So, Remdesivir is, of course, a globally well-known drug which is made by Gilead. It was made for Ebola and that got an emergency approval coming in from US FDA. And Cipla did a tie-up with Gilead. They have worked earlier with Gilead as well. And they did a tie-up for the launch of this drug. What has happened overnight is that Cipla, in an expected event, of course, has gone ahead and launched this drug under the brand name Ciprim in the US market. Very difficult to say what is the size. However, it is, as of now, only expected to be used for severe patients. So that's something that we are looking for. They have used it as an or launched it as an injectable of about 100 mg. So that's what we are looking at. So that's a stock which will be in focus. Another interesting pharma stock which will be in focus will be Glenmark, and again for similar reasons. Now, Feripavar, which is of course another antiviral drug like HCQS, which was being talked about. It's been used in a lot of countries, not of course the big ones or the very developed ones in terms of this usage, but in India, Glenmark has got an approval coming in based on the studies that they have done. This is again an emergency approval. Remember, this is a kind of an emergency as far as COVID is concerned, and that's why, despite all the data, all the trials, which essentially you would expect most drugs to go through, ahead of that, you're getting such sort of approvals coming in. So they have got this approval here into India. Does it become a big market? It's a prescription market as of now because it's an emergency approval. 100 rupees per tablet is what they are charging in, but it's a very old drug. It's a drug which a lot of people can make, and that's why people are anticipating that this 100 rupees per tablet will definitely come down pretty soon to about 15-20 rupees, or maybe even slightly lower than that on a per tablet basis. So let's wait and watch. Glenmark should be in focus. It comes in as a positive surprise. However, the big kicker for Glenmark would only come in if some of the big developed nations would actually approve Feripavar.
All right, thanks for that, Pankaj. Let's now switch gears a little bit. We have the management of Cochin Shipyard, Madhu S. Nair, CMD, joining us. Good morning and welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking all the time to chat with us this morning. If we could begin with an overview of the recent results. There was some margin expansion and quite a decent set of numbers. What were the key highlights for you?
The key highlights was the shipbuilding side, because the indigenous aircraft carrier, we are getting it ready for what we call the basin trials and the subsequent sea trials of the vessel. So there was quite some activity towards the later part of the financial year, and that has actually given us, I would say, fairly good numbers.
All right, so, and just more generically speaking, and from the transition now going from lockdown to unlock, what is the update on activity levels in your sector and, movement at the ports?
See, we are in the shipyard, we had actually had to close down during the lockdown period, but since April 27th onwards, we got special permissions in the state of Kerala, and then we have started working. We are actually social distancing and working in 2 shifts. So instead of a normal shift, we are actually working much longer these days with lesser number of people. But overall, about 75% back to operations. That is where we are. The challenge is to catch up for lost time. So what we are discussing internally is how do we work more. It's as simple as that, because as a shipyard, if we need to catch back time, it is working more. So we could see some of the milestones getting shifted onto the right, but coming to the end of FY21, we want the overall work, overall turnovers to be held tight. So this is the approach we are doing now. Touch wood, not a single case of COVID within the company. So as of today, we are having about 5,000 plus people working inside the company in Cochin Shipyard. But our operations in Mumbai has not started and in Kolkata has not started. Hopefully this week we should be able to get going in Mumbai and Kolkata.
So, given that, you're quite optimistic about the prospects and the pickup and recovery going forward, over the next 1-2 years, how is the outlook for the segment looking like?
Right now we are actually moving forward with the projects on hand, but see, the overall impact, what I'm saying is I should actually say that the world market is pretty down. There is people are actually shying away from placing large ticket orders. But the positive part I should say is suddenly we are now seeing at least a set of people who were probably talking to yards in China has started to talk to us. And these are vessels which are slightly, I should say, high-end vessels, environmentally friendly, because this is a change that's coming, especially in Europe. Because Europe, I would think the whole COVID has hastened or speeded up that process of moving towards
Sir, could you also update us on the liquidity? Okay, I think we have lost the connection with him. We'll try and repatch him. Okay, he's back with us. Mr. Nair, hi. If you can hear me, I also wanted to understand what is the liquidity position like, given that there has been a delay in running projects. Do you expect any liquidity challenges over the next 1-2 quarters, or is that taken care of?
We are okay with the liquidity position. I'm not saying that everything is fine. We are expecting delays in payments, but I can clearly confirm that we will not face liquidity issues. But we have created a cash war room here. We are counting our money on a daily basis here, because we understand some of our clients will have difficulties, including the government clients will have difficulties in paying as promised, but there will not be any liquidity issues.
All right. So, so then from what we've gathered from you, it seems that the situation is still evolving currently. Would you be able to not give some specific guidance, but share some, broader points which we can look out for in FY21 and FY22 to really establish whether the company is going to be able to keep growing, or, what the limiting factors might be in the opposite case?
I have consistently over the last few years, the company has always targeted to grow at anywhere between 12 to 14%. Times we have actually grown more than that. FY21, because first quarter has been pretty bleak, we are all aware of it because of the lockdown. So the immediate target for FY21 would be to make sure that we don't go down from where we are. We at least hold on to where we are. So I can fairly confidently say that we will hold on to where we are, and we'll try and see whether we can get a few notches above where we are, but definitely that is the target at this stage. So it's too early to make any forecast for the year, but then we are hopeful, optimistic that things won't go down from where we are right now.
All right. Well, that's it from us this morning, sir. Unless Karanya, if you have any more questions, I think that's all from me, at least this morning.
I think we can wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Mr. Nair, for joining in with your take on how the sector is panning out and how the financials are looking for the company now and going forward as well, how they could shape up. Okay, moving on, as promised, we're getting you more insights from Raamdeo Agarwal. He believes that the manufacturing base could be shifted to India from China, given how the geopolitical scenario is panning out. Listen in to what he said.
If you see the world's biggest manufacturing base by scale, by variety, anything, last 20 years has been China. I mean, even our manufacturing base has been eroded by China. Forget about US. So clearly that's the den of manufacturing. But somehow this geopolitical situation is such that that even the labor cost in China is significantly higher than India now. Their labor cost is more like $3.5, $4 per hour. Ours is still $1.5, $2. So there is a clear preference for us. We have the size. People prefer to get it from India if they can get it at reasonable price. So the environment which is shaping up now, it could be favorable for India manufacturing. But whether it will become big, will it become a storm? That only time will tell. This geo platform they are talking about, that is what is the excitement right now. I mean, whether they will be able to get the success of global giants, but it's a lot of promise which is there right now, and that is what the world is excited about, and that's why all these checks are pouring, I believe. One of the reasons, apart from the telecom excitement, is also the icing on the cake of a success, large success their e-commerce through the grocery, through the retailing, through the whole lot of things, all the online platform. So that could be the birth of one of the large, seriously large platform business out of India. But success of one will give birth to many other businesses, and I'm quite hopeful in next 5-6 years we'll see many more platforms, platform kind of businesses, which will come. That could be the next wave. You never know.
Break here and buy now, sell now. Plenty lined up when we come back. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're still watching Buy Now, Sell Now. Let's bring on board Kunal as well to talk technicals. Kunal, what are your trading ideas for today?
So again, Karunya, exceptional market circumstances in the last 3 days. We moved up significantly higher than India. Back to that, just a couple of buy calls. The first one is a buy on Havells. Now the stock is confirmed on the daily charts. Just a buy. It's to be kept at almost and stop us at 555. And the second would be a buy on Bajaj Finance. It's a non-crypto stock, more of a mid-cap name, confirming a breakout of multiple resistances at this 80 plus mark. So that's also buy. Expect almost a 10% upside. So 410 is target for Bajaj Finance, and supposed to be kept at 368.
Okay, Kunal, thanks much then for joining in with your trading ideas for the day. Kajaria Ceramics is one stock to watch out for, according to him. Okay. Moving on then, let's talk about an important earnings as well, PNB, which we had flagged off as part of our headlines as well. This result has been quite impressive in the quarter gone by. The management joins us right now, Mr. S.S. Mallikarjun Rao, MD and CEO at the bank. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in. Operationally, it's been a strong quarter for you. You've improved your profitability and there has been lower losses because of, despite of higher provision. Can you tell us how the recent performance has been for you? What is your assessment of how you performed? Is it in line with what you expected?
See, key features has been operating profit sustaining itself is a very important factor for us. It was around 3,800 crores for the quarter. That is a very important ingredient for the performance. Then aging provisions we have done. We have also taken certain dispensations in terms of fraud accounts where 776 crores provision is deferred in terms of the RBI guidelines. So by and large, it has been a moderate performance to give the confidence for the future. Particularly, the gross NPA has come down, net NPA also has come down below 6%, and we are very confident that we will be sustaining in the years to come below 6%. In fact, our endeavors will be to reduce that. Treasury profit also has been there for the whole year, 1,632 crores, and for the quarter roughly around 500 crores. So there was a moderate contribution from not only the interest from advances but also from the treasury profits. This has contributed to the level currently where we have declared the results, but we still have very important things to take care in the next 2 quarters, particularly the provision deferments and also certain aging provisions which we are planning that by September, if we are able to complete. In the Q3 and Q4, even if we are required to encounter the COVID related impact, we should be able to sustain. Even the year 2021 also, we are looking at moderately to see the profits crop up. Our capital adequacy ratio also is comfortably placed at 14.14, which is taking care of the regulatory requirements. There is also a cushion for growth capital. However, when we are going to merge the balance sheets for the 3 banks as of 1st of April, we will reassess the position in the next month when we go to the board regarding the capital as well as the business plan.
Morning. And also, how are you managing lending to stress sectors like NBFC, MSME while managing your NPA expectations at the same time?
NBFCs we have already lent. Even if you look at in the last 6 months ended March, there has been a good amount of lending to NBFCs. Earlier, the limit what internally was up to 11% of the total advances, whereas that also we have increased internally so that we are able to accommodate wherever there is a requirement for lending to NBFC. With respect to MSME, MSMEs continue to be under little strain. Even much before the COVID, you must have seen MSME was under strain, as a result of which Reserve Bank of India had given a window for restructuring of the accounts up to 31st December 2020 initially for all those standard advances as on 1st January 2020. Further, it has been extended up to 31st March 2021. What is important is, even in the COVID, the major effect came on MSME. It is all the responsibility of commercial banks to see that MSME is given helping hand once the COVID impact is opening up, and we are seeing already the export orders coming to some of the exporters under MSME category. But the real impact of coming back more effectively probably will start from 1st of October to peak from 1st of January. So it is very important for all of us to see that MSME segment is helped well. Emergency COVID credit we have been extending in terms of the government guarantee which is given to us. That is 20% of the lending outstanding as on 29th of February. We have identified roughly around 5 lakh accounts, out of which already we have sanctioned more than 1,65,000 accounts. We are working on that. So what is important is we are able to see that MSMEs come back to normalcy post-COVID situation.
All right, sir, thanks for that. And you know, on the recoveries and resolutions front, what are you expecting, and any noteworthy names that you'd like to highlight?
Recovery, in fact, in the month of January, when we were expecting the recoveries for March ended 2020, there were quite a good number of big accounts where we were expecting recovery. However, it did not happen. One of the accounts everybody is aware, that is Bhushan Power, where it is stuck up in litigation, expecting that it may get resolved in the next couple of quarters. So the recovery position as at the end of March, while we were expecting anything around 6,000 to 8,000 crores, it did not happen. It ended up only roughly around 3,000 crores of recovery ended March 2020. Even the June quarter also, we will not have much of recovery because of the COVID impact. Whatever recoveries we expect, it could be at the end of Q2 and Q3. However, the recoveries what were achieved up to February end were there. That's how it was very moderate at the end of March 2020.
Mr. Rao, your GNPA and net NPA have begun to improve. What are the drivers here, and could it worsen again once the moratorium is lifted?
One thing is that net NPA will not have any impact because the aging provisions which are lined up to September will take care of the net NPA position to bring it down even in the combined entity, because those two banks also have net NPA below 6% and also gross NPA below 15%. As such, I am not expecting these two to get impacted, except for the fact that the lending outstanding, the advance outstanding as at the end of March, if you look at for June, because of the COVID impact, it has come down. How far we'll be able to do the disbursements in the next 15-10 days time up to June 30 is only a matter. However, if you look at the outstandings, that is value of gross NPA and value of net NPA, they will go down, they won't be any increase.
All right, and what about the outlooks on rates, availability of capital and the transmission? Could you give us a sense of how the credit growth might look like going forward?
With respect to credit growth, initially before COVID, we planned for a 12% credit growth for the bank in the year 2020-21. However, because of the COVID, we are moderating this to 6%. We will be going to the board next month with full analysis after completion of the opening balance sheet for the three banks. With respect to interest rates, you are aware that retail and MSME are covered through the external benchmark, that is repo linked interest rates. As a result, the transmission is automatic. It is only a matter of time that the existing borrowers, prior to introduction of this external benchmark rate, getting converted into external benchmark rate, we have already extended a window to them. They can convert anytime. That process is also in progress. So as far as transmission is concerned, with respect to the loans where they are linked to external benchmark, it is automatic. When the repo rate was reduced by 75 basis points in the month of March and further 40 basis points in the month of April, it has automatically been transmitted. With respect to MCLR as well, it has come down effectively by transmission. We have also introduced treasury linked external benchmark rate as well for the corporates specifically. So technically, if you ask me, majority of the lending currently is happening where the lending rates are linked to external benchmark.
Right, sir. And we're given to understand that PNB is currently undergoing a huge transformation process and they're reorganizing the bank to capture the opportunity that's there. And also now being the second largest PSU lender post the mergers, what's the long-term potential here for PNB investors?
Correct. Already we have undertaken a massive restructuring of the bank, which was necessitated because of the merger of two other banks with us. Now we have roughly around 12,000 branches across the country, wherein we need to put a perfect setup for administrative as well as risk underwriting control. Effective from 1st of July, the entire organization is going to remodel itself. We have already positioned the leadership roles across the country in various stages. To tell you in a nutshell, what we have done is the large corporate borrowers, large corporate branches we have identified to the extent of 23, which will be directly reporting to corporate office, wherein we will have a better administrative and credit underwriting control. Further, we have opened 24 zonal offices. Earlier, PNB standalone was having 13. Now, in the merged entity, 24 zonal offices. In all the 24 zonal offices, we have parallelly operationalized zonal risk management centers in order to see that the proposals which are processed are properly underwritten. Similarly, processing centers we are operationalizing from 1st of July, whereupon the loans sanctioning about 10 lakhs will be delinked from the branches and processing centers will take care. It is a massive restructuring plan for the entire bank, second largest in the public sector space. We are expecting that the entire structure will get maturity in settling down from 1st of July to 30th of September. So we would see benefits from 1st of October. This is to create a structure framework in a proper manner. Now the benefits will automatically accrue once the structure is put properly. Even at the top level, verticalization we have created at the head office level in order to have proper monitoring of the various verticals rather than monitoring everything with the field functionaries. So that kind of a line of vertical monitoring approach also will give us an advantage. Now we'll have to wait and see how they are going to play out for giving the outcomes which we are expecting, but I'm very confident that this organization structure is going to bring good business impact on the bank. However, the year 2021, we are looking at strengthening the balance sheet because you must have seen PNB had a rough time in the last 2-3 years. It has been coming back to normalcy, and 2021 we see that it is a consolidating year for PNB combined entity 2.0 with 11,000 branches and more than 18 lakh crore of business. So the 21-22 should be a billboard for increasing the business more effectively.
All right, Mr. Mallikarjun Rao, we leave it there for this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. That was the management of PNB talking about the latest quarterly results and the latest trends in the industry. Then moving forward from one financial to another, we are now joined by the management of LIC Housing Finance. The MD and CEO, Siddhartha Mohanty, is with us. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show. First question, profit has witnessed a degrowth of 39% this quarter. How much of the impact was due to the COVID-19-led lockdown, and what were the other factors that specifically weighed down the performance?
Actually, if you see our revenue from operations, it has shown some growth in the last quarter even. Total revenue from operations 4,920 crore as against 4,658 crore, showing a growth rate of 6%. So overall revenue from operations, it has shown 13% growth. But if you look at PAT, total PAT has been reduced by say 1%, 1 point something, as against 2,430 crore, it is 2,401 crore total PAT. And that we can attribute towards the last week of lockdown, for which maximum collection we expected during last week, that could not come. So it has affected our profitability.
I was just going through the presentation wherein you'd mentioned that 25% of your customers have opted for a moratorium. What are the changes in behavior for non-delinquent customers? If you could give us some kind of a trend there, and are you seeing the percentage of moratorium coming down as we move ahead?
You see, looking to present situation and the impact of COVID, we expect that there will be some uncertainty in the market. And people who have opted for moratorium, 25% in terms of amount. But if you see the number is 18%. And we are actually tracking those accounts. Once moratorium is over by 31st August, already we have planned out how to monitor each account so that they are back on track. But there is risk always, because you do not know the exact duration of the pandemic. So that will have impact on the economy as well as on our operations. So that some risk will be there in any case. But our objective is how to minimize that risk so that people who have opted for moratorium, they are back on track. That is the objective.
Okay. At a time when everybody is increasing their provisions, your provisions were down substantially in a QOQ and year-on-year basis. Can you tell us a bit more about how that transpired and what is the asset quality trends that you foresee? Is there an increase in NPA that you expect owing to the tough macro environment?
You see, if you see our NPA marginal rise is there in NPA, 10 basis points rise is there as against last quarter, December quarter. It is 2.86 overall gross NPA. And if you see provisioning, that has also increased. We have adequately provided for those accounts. So, but looking to present situation, as you are telling, spike in asset quality, bad asset quality, we are closely monitoring. We cannot be very sure. But one good thing for the LIC HFL is most of our constituents, they are regular salaried class. Main composition of our business is salaried class, regular income group. And the impact there is very less. Though they have been impacted because of COVID, but it is a less impact. And people who have taken moratorium and who have not taken moratorium, even from them also, those who have not opted for moratorium, 93%, our customers, they are paying regularly. So that is a good sign. So we can expect there will be some marginal growth in this area, but it will be within control. That is my sense.
Right, sir. And, on the collection efficiency front, what are you seeing in the 2.5 months that we've had so far of FY21? Is there some pickup with the branches now resuming their operations?
You see, April, if I say April was almost negligible. April was totally, you can say, nothing. But May 15 onwards, second part of May onwards, and now June, our collection is increasing. Day by day, it is increasing, and there is some positivity in the market. And we are quite hopeful. Whatever deficiency was there in April immediate after lockdown, that has been taken care of post second fortnight of May and this first fortnight of June. So gradually things will improve. Now lockdown has been lifted. Most of all our offices are now opened, except a few areas like Chennai where again lockdown is there. So normal work has already started, and we have also started disbursing. Good amount also has been disbursed. So my sense is this collection will gradually improve, though it has been adversely affected in April. Gradually it will improve. By September, I think it will come to a level so that normalcy will be restored.
Right, so you just mentioned that you're seeing a pickup in disbursements. Are you seeing increase in inquiries for incremental loans? And if so, which are the segments which are showing the, the most traction?
Our experience is now people who are taking loan mostly in affordable segment. Middle segment, affordable segment, small loans, 25 lakh, 30 lakh, 40 lakh, like that. So that segment we are experiencing good growth during this period also. And in that area we are very strong. In affordable segment and mid segment we are very strong. And the government has also taken a lot of measures, particularly this Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, CLSS. They have extended for this mid segment for one more year. Earlier it was up to 20th March 2020. Now they have extended up to March 2021. So that middle class people, they can also avail loan under CLSS by getting a interest subsidy. So they are a big constituent for our segment.
Also, just want to get in a sense of your exposure to developer financing. What is your outlook for the real estate sector that has, that is right now witnessing further pressures because of the lockdown woes?
As such, if you see the loan composition of LIC Housing Finance, developer book is less than 7%, 6.4647%. That is the constituent part of total book, total portfolio. So 14,400, 500 crore is the developer book. So within that, of course, we have some experience so far as asset quality is concerned. Some of the developers, they have approached for moratorium around 75%. Developers, they have also approached for moratorium. But if you see percentage-wise, it is 75%. If you look to the total size of our book, which today stands at 2,10,000 crore plus, so it is, I think, it is within the limit, manageable.
All right, Mr. Mohanty, thank you so much then for joining in and helping us understand how the quarter has transpired and what is the outlook going forward. Sipping into a short break here, plenty more when we come back. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now with me and Karanya. Earlier in the week, as part of our new Celeb Connect program, we caught up with none other than Kunal Kapoor, where he shared his insights on crowd fundraising and his venture Hetero, which has seen a lot of traction lately. Let's listen in.
The whole idea of crowdfunding was very sort of nascent, not only in India but across the world. And it was about educating people that wanted to donate, but people that also needed the money. So there was a lot of sort of creating awareness and educating people that was involved. So the first couple of years was slow, but in the last couple of years we've seen it really grow exponentially. People have come forward to not only raise but also contribute from across the country and across the world, and we've raised over $110 million now on the platform. Various things, right from helping NGOs to help somebody that is sick, to disaster relief, to helping a Bharatnatyam dancer that wanted to dance again. So a really sort of wide spectrum of causes and has been sort of supported on Hetero.
Wanted to understand what your game plan is here. Are you looking to get more celebrities like yourself who might be more influential as fundraisers, as well? Secondly, wanted to understand for your investors, I know this is a social cause as much as it is a business, but it is also a business. So at some point, how will you monetize everything that you're creating right now?
See, the idea was to build a social business, not an NGO. Because like I said, I've worked very closely with a number of NGOs. What I've realized is that if you want to bring about a social sort of change, it's very important for it to operate like a business. The intention might be to make a sort of social impact, but if you operate like an NGO to grow the way we want to grow is very difficult. So yes, we do operate as a business, and we've been expanding. We're a team of now 60 people. When we started off, it was just me and Varun. We are now 60 people that are working on Hetero. And Keto is the beginning, but there's other crowdfunding is the beginning, but there's other avenues that we want to grow into. Mainly health. That is something that we want to focus on. We want to. We're working on an app which is related to health, and that's where we're going to focus our attention next. So it's going to be crowdfunding, and then obviously moving on to health-related services.
So typically the kind of requests that are there and the initiatives that people are raising money for are mostly healthcare related right now. What is the pie like?
Yeah, so it is mostly healthcare related. Most of the individual cases are related to healthcare. And I think that's because of a couple of reasons. One is, of course, the whole healthcare space in this country is very underserved. No matter how much you try, it's always there's going to be people that need money for a transplant or to fight a disease or other health related services. The other thing is that we also find that donors are more likely to contribute to people that are in need of help as far as health goes, because usually in health the need is urgent. So with other things, you might say that you want to build a school which will take 1.5 years, 2 years to build, and somebody that is on the platform might not think that that's urgent enough. So I have a patient that says that if I don't get treatment right away, I might die, or I need a transplant right away, or I'm fighting cancer. That the need is urgent, so your propensity to help is far greater. It's two reasons that health is obviously very big. One, like I'm saying, is from the side of the people that are raising the money, it's very underserved. And secondly, from the people that make money, the need is usually very urgent. So your propensity to sort of donate is.
Right. So I have a question revolving around what you just said. So if I take a pre-COVID and a post-COVID kind of situation, are you seeing a lot more traction in your platform, and has the volumes gone up considerably, or is it not really the case?
No, it's gone up there's been a huge sort of jump in the last couple of months of people that are coming on board and, starting campaigns, contributing to campaigns. And, I think that's amazing because it just shows you that, at least people that I talk to and people that I see around, everybody wants to step up and do something. They either want to help somebody, or they want to contribute to a cause, they want to start a fundraiser on their own. And I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing that people have this desire to contribute, to be responsible, to help socially in any way that they can. And I think what crowdfunding does is it makes it very, very easy to do that. If this happened, say, 10 years back, you would have wanted to help, but the avenues would have been limited. I think crowdfunding gives you the avenue, gives you the platform. A lot of people that are contributing and starting fundraisers are people that have never done it before. And a lot of them are people that are students from school, like in the 5th and 6th grade. I think the youngest person on Keto that has started a fundraiser is 10 years old.
Wow.
That I really want to help animals and I really want to make a difference. So that gives me a lot of hope that such young kids are thinking about contribution and making a difference.
Yeah, very heartening. Can you give us a sense of how Keto has been able to step up their efforts during this massive crisis?
We are right now running a number of campaigns that are directed only towards COVID, which is obviously to help the migrant workers, to feed animals, to build shelters, to help the medical workers. We've raised about 100 crores now for only COVID-specific cases and COVID-specific fundraisers. So yeah.
That's great, and great to hear. Just one more question that's a bit unrelated. How are you keeping fit during the lockdown, and what exercises are happening at home? Do you have any good circuits that you'd like to share, or anything like that?
Well, what I realized is that there's this constant sort of additional pressure that all of us have put on ourselves, which is that during this time, which is we are under lockdown, we have to achieve so much and we have to learn so much and we have to consume so much content. And by the time I come out of this, I'm going to look like a Greek god. I'm going to have everybody possible. Decide to be kind to myself. I decided that I wouldn't put additional pressure on myself, because I think anyways, all of us feel a sense of anxiety because of the uncertainty. I think the sense of isolation gives you a sense of anxiety. And when you pressurize yourself and you say that, look, I've got to be an overachiever during the lockdown, I think it gets far worse.
So how important do you say would be financial stability, especially when it comes to such a health crisis that we're currently witnessing?
Each and every one of us, like I said, is feeling a sense of uncertainty, obviously emotionally, but also financially, because you don't know what's going to happen. Are you going to have your next job? Even as an actor, I don't know when I'm going to shoot next. I'm dying to be on a set shoot. Don't know when that's going to happen. So there is a sense of uncertainty. And, the financial thing, I think, is very, very sort of individualistic. What I do hope that comes out of this is that, like I said, is that everybody wants to step forward and contribute. And I do hope that once this is over, we don't lose that sense. I hope we don't go back to exactly where we were and doing exactly the things that we were doing. I hope we've learned some lessons from this. And I hope we sort of apply those lessons in a post-COVID world.
Kunal, if you're missing being on set, I think feel free to step in for us. Our studios are open right now.
I wouldn't mind, actually. I'd be happy to.
Kunal, would you like to highlight any instance that you may have come across since you've started Keto? Any incident that really touched you or influenced you in a big way?
My God, there's so many. So every week we come across a story which, like I said, reinstates your faith in goodness and reinstates your faith in humanity. I remember there was a story of this Bharatnatyam dancer she was 80 at that point of time. And she used to be really celebrated, really famous. And she was living in a house that was completely in shambles. She didn't have enough food to eat. Didn't have anybody to take care of her. And this boy just stepped out of, he didn't know her at all. He was a lawyer. And he decided he wanted to raise money for her and help her. And the next time I met her, he had redone her whole house. He had hired a nurse for her. There was a maid that was working there. And he was really sort of treating her like his mother. And I found that amazing, that somebody that, you would reach out to a complete stranger because you were touched by their story and you'd want to make a difference. So these sort of stories, there's something every week which is, like I said, really sort of reinstates your faith in humanity. The other ones that I've been really particularly close to are the ones where athletes have raised money. They've raised money for Commonwealth Games, the Asian Games, for training equipment. And many of them have actually gone on and won medals at the Commonwealth Game and Asian Games after crowdfunding. So that is something that, gives you a great sense of pride.
So other than investing or being so heavily invested in social causes, helping people raise money, overall, I mean, when it comes to managing your own monies, what has typically been your approach?
Well, my wife is an investment banker, so I leave it up to her.
So you got that covered.
Completely covered.
All right, with that, we're wrapping it up on Buy Now, Sell Now. Thank you for tuning in.